I totally forgot to include this in that first recording. But if you guys want to purchase a custom FLEXX hoodie, you can make any color you want. You can combine, red, black, pink, anything like purple and blue, whatever. Tina works really hard every year to do this pre-order sale. So you design your hoodie. Look at the description and we have all the information there. It's at the FLEXX shop, the Big Cartel FLEXX shop. Just click that and yeah, you can build your own FLEXX hoodie. Just totally forgot to put that in there. I greatly appreciate everybody that picks one up. Whether you pick one up or not, I appreciate your support. And yep, I'll see you in the next one. What is going on, guys? Joey here. I finally recovered from my sickness. I don't know what it was. I thought it was COVID, but it wasn't, because I tested negative. But I pretty much had all the symptoms. Yeah, it was really annoying. Quite the hindrance when it comes to productivity. It is Wednesday, I believe the 15th. It's raining a little bit. So I got an umbrella on my head. And yeah, I'm just going to answer some of these questions that you guys sent in. I have not looked at them yet, so bear with me. Please excuse the cars. They will periodically pass by. I'm not in a crazy busy neighborhood, but it's here and there. All right, first question. Tips for deads with a long torso. It's rough, man. It's rough. A lot of these questions that you guys give me, when they're like that, it's like super general. Like obviously if I'm not looking at the person, it's kind of hard to give you specific advice. But in general, if you have a long torso, I like to really make sure that that torso is made of steel, right? So you're going to do a lot of accessories to help keep you very built from that area, because you're going to have to stabilize throughout the movement. And I'm assuming when you say long torso, you also have short arms, because if you have a long torso and long arms, you can kind of get away with it. So I'm just assuming you have a long torso, and that you maybe round a lot when you deadlift. That's probably going to happen. And I would say under maximal weights, some rounding is probably acceptable. And here's the thing that people need to understand is that we're choosing to do powerlifting, right? And in the sport of powerlifting, you have to sort of operate within the parameters of like what is going to count in a meet. But not everybody is built or designed to squat to parallel with heavy weight. It's just not good for your body. Other people are more so than others. Just like, benching with the pause or deadlifting really heavy weights off the ground with a barbell. Like, not everyone is always going to be like designed to do that. And you're going to have, some people are going to have a pain point lift. It's just a lift that like, you just don't tolerate it very well. It's, you might be even injury prone when you do that lift. So these are things that people just have to like pay attention to and keep in mind that like, if you have a long torso, you have a long torso, all you can do is keep your back as straight as you can. Try to stay as safe as you can throughout the lift. You might have to wear your belt a little bit higher. But you don't want to focus on it to the point where you're not even being productive because you're just so obsessed that you have bad leverage that you can't even change anyway, right? You can try pulling sumo. I think that's going to probably be your best bet. But again, that is a suggestion. And even though I say that, hey, try to pull sumo, if your hands are just causing too much friction on your thighs, what do you got to pick the lesser of two evils. So I hope that helps. You just gotta like embrace that you have that. Keep your core really strong, move your belt up a little bit, experiment with everything, and you know, just do your best to not like obsess over it to the point where you're not even progressing now because you're just like, oh, my deadlift is so bad because I have a long torso. Some of you guys didn't even ask questions, you just said thanks. Oh shit, appreciate you guys. My favorite squat programs. Mine, of course. I've never really seen, I will say this about programs in general. Since the dawn of, I can remember, like ever since I've been a part of powerlifting, there's been this guy, his name is Mr. Johnny Candido, and he has always put out like free programs. And the other day, I don't know how, I think I was on Facebook or something, and there's like an old powerlifting group that I'm in that I'm never active in. And I just see it occasionally when I go there to check my messages, and somebody was talking about his program. So I went to his website to just like take a look and see, like, I have literally heard of these programs forever. I've never actually looked at them. And there's actually some decent stuff on there. There's like really good stuff on there for like, especially if you don't have a coach. And it's not just like sets and reps. It's like explanations, and his explanations are like good. They're like I think it's solid advice. You know what I mean? So I mean, as far as like programs goes, I mean, one of those will probably be fine. But there's no like program that I can think of that's just like free on the internet. But regardless of what the program is, if you're getting stimulus once or twice a week on that lift and you're like having progressive overload and then adequate recovery, you're gonna see progress. It doesn't really matter, you know, what the name is. Like Smolov and all those things, like they'll kill you. Like they'll literally break you to pieces. Like anybody that's done them knows, like, yeah, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. It's not even close. It's very, very hard. And my theory, it's not even my theory. I don't even know where I read this, but it was at least 8 to 10 years ago. But basically what I was reading, because back then you had to read things, right? There's nothing on the internet that you could watch. But like if you make a program that's really hard and you give it to like 1,000 people, at least one of those motherfuckers is going to survive it and become very strong and be a beast, because they're built different. They're just different. Like the rules don't apply to them. They're less than a 1%er, you know? They're super durable, built for squats. They build muscle really well, and they're able to do that. So there's that. But yeah, that's why I think you have all those people that try the program, and then like the elites survive, right? Like 2 people out of 1,000 get incredible results. And then those people survive and live to tell the tale. And that's what people remember. And you got to kind of think of life like that, you know? A lot of times you're going to see a result and think that you can maybe get that result for yourself. But you got to understand that, like, nope, that guy is just, he's not normal. And he could probably do anything and be one of the best. So there's that. All right. Next question. How do you plan reps for training cycles? So everything that I do when it comes to planning somebody's training is like it's based on like the proximity of the competition, or I might be having them do, if they're not competing and we're doing an off season, technically you could still say, yeah, if your meet is a year out, then we're going to do things based on you being a year out, right? So I will plan their sets and reps, based on when they need to be prepared the most, right? Like when do they need to max out? All right, hopefully it's not like too loud. I am about to turn into a neighborhood with no cars at all, so it should be okay. But yeah, it just depends on when the meet is. Farther out from the meet, I like higher reps. I might do a video on just higher reps. If you guys want it, let me know in the comments down below. And like the video, don't forget. higher reps, and then I kind of taper the reps down. At the same time, your intensities are getting heavier, going up, and nothing too crazy. I try to just make sure that if the lifter is getting too beat up, you're making the adjustments. If the lifter isn't being challenged, you're making the adjustments. And yeah, everything is based off of like, what are we doing? Are we in off season? Do we have a meet coming up, etc.? If we are 1 week out from a meet, our sets and reps are going to be very different than when we are 10, 12 weeks out from a meet. So that is that. Next question. What should actually be in a deload? Less weight, less volume, time off. It depends. Sometimes I've been like thinking about this more and more and trying to implement it more and more. If a lifter is, they've been going hard for 4 or 5 months, I will want them to miss some days. I want them to, maybe train like twice or 3 times in a week only, barely any volume at all, and really just like desensitized from what they were doing. I think lifters can sometimes get into this like stale limbo, and it's just like not good for like continual progress, and you don't want to be in that position for too long. But yeah, that's pretty much like what I think in terms of that. And then your deload is going to be like relative, right? So it's going to be like you have to deload from something. So if you're doing like sets of 8, like 4 sets of 8 on bench, and then like, I don't know, 5 sets of 4 at the end of the week, that's like a lot. What is that? 20 at the end of the week, 32 at the beginning of the week, right? So was that 52? If you want to do it like that, you're doing 52 reps at those rep ranges, and the RPE is between a 6 to 8. You want to be, just to like give you numbers, you could probably get a pretty good deload effect doing 35% less than that in terms of like overall sets and reps, staying within a similar RPE, maybe even 30% of that, and then keeping your RPEs down around RPE 6. Probably going to be plenty less to be able to really get some good deload action. That is just like a general recommendation. When I do the deloads, I might do 50%, I might do 60%. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter too much, as long as like at the end of it, the lifter's like, I feel better. I feel like I'm rested. I feel like the work that I did was, easy enough, and now I feel more refreshed. And hopefully there's going to be less cars because I made a rate down the street. And yeah, that's pretty much that. In terms of loads, I kind of went over that already with the RPE, so you should be good there. Okay, so someone said here, what's a good estimate for coaching and prices? I guess I could talk about coaching a little bit. So here in FLEXXland, like there's different prices based on like experience levels, and just like, if a coach, for example, is like really, really busy, then they can charge more because their demand is very high, and it is like harder for them to fit in another lifter. If a coach is new and they have more room, the price can be lower. Our prices can range anywhere from $120 a month all the way up to $180 a month. It just really depends. And usually what I do is when somebody contacts us, I'll take a look at that person, I'll ask them for their information, and I'll try to pair them with someone who I think can really help them and make a difference for them. Sometimes I don't think it'll matter too much, and I'll say you can pick from these people, but it can vary based on that. And then I usually give a discount if people sign up for 3 months at a time. Yeah, that's pretty much that. So it just depends. Communication is every 24 hours. Try to be really strict with that. If it doesn't happen, I mean, like myself and all the coaches know to have another way of communicating, like to the team as a whole, so they can say, hey, you know, they're people that they work with, like I'm traveling or something came up or whatever. I'm not going to be able to get back to people until this time or whatever. But usually we're really good about that. And that is like what the standard, you know, is. And if it's not happening, you know, you guys can definitely hit me up and say, yo, so-and-so didn't hit me up or whatever. But it's up to the lifter to check in, right? They got to send their videos, and we need to communicate on that front. All right. I'll probably do two or three more. Favorite accessories for the bench press: close grip and flat dumbbell press. I also like incline bench. I've had really good results with those. So yeah, I'll just keep that simple. And then favorite accessories for the bench. Okay, I already did that one. There's another one here. Do you include any barbell variation to your clients? So high bar squats, close grip. I try to keep if I am doing a variation, it's very close to the comp lift. Maybe just a different grip. Sorry, still sick. Different grip or different bar placement. I mean, pin squats, rarely, like less than 1% of the time. But like, for example, with Big Mikey, I have said like, yo, you know, we're trying to like work around an injury, and he might be like, all right, I'm going to try, you know, implementing pin squats so that I can get some squatting and my range of motion can be chill. So there's that. But it's not something that like I would just tell him not to. I won't tell him not to do it, but it's not something that I'm really like, oh yeah, man, this is the move. So, and like super duper off season, you can mess around with hex bar and like things like that. But high bar squats, front squats, close grip bench, incline bench, you know, nothing too insane when it comes to that. I think that's good. This video, how long is this video? 17 minutes. I'm gonna call it there. Any bigger and I'll have trouble downloading the file from my phone. Thank you guys. I hope this was somewhat useful. If you're able to get something from it, let me know in the comments down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.